Welcome to Wet and Worthy Woman. Not just a podcast, but a global revolution. A movement of women taking back the burned, silenced, suppressed, shamed, and forbidden parts of our feminine truth. You're here to heal the rebel woman way and take back all that you've been told not to be as a woman. Join me, Charlotte Little, founder of The Wild Femme, trauma survivor and liberation leader, to reclaim your ancient feminine codes from society, shame, and suppression as we have these juicy, rebellious conversations to set your soul free. Prepare to fuck yourself back to freedom, and welcome to the Wet and Worthy Woman Revolution. Hello, beautiful tribe, and welcome to the fucking girl gang that I've got sitting in front of me right now on Zoom. I'm so excited. It really feels like a circle and a sisterhood when there's more than one guest. And this is my first, actually, no, I lie. I have had a couple on before, but you're my first female duo on the podcast, which feels like
Fuck
yeah.
yummy. So I'm going to introduce Melly and Liv. They are Babe Philosophy, and let me just read out this fucking piece of juice that I need to read out for them. We are Babe Philosophy, not just a podcast, but a movement defining what modern feminine philosophy looks and feels like. We are reclaiming deep thinking, questioning, and truth-seeking as sacred feminine acts. We believe wisdom isn't something you're handed, it's something you uncover within yourself. That's why we don't give you the answers. We ask better questions. We invite women everywhere to stop outsourcing authority and start trusting the brilliance of their own lived experience. Through raw conversations, spiritual sass, and intellectual soul fire, we're awakening the inner philosopher in every woman and showing her she doesn't have to look or sound a certain way to be taken seriously. Fuck yeah!
Let's fucking go.
Liv's crying already.
Liv's crying. Yes, it worked.
Yeah, it was so beautiful to hear someone else read it and to go, yeah, that's what we're fucking doing.
That's us.
Yeah. I love that little ego wash that everyone gets when they come on the show. And I'm just like, this is how amazing you are. This is the work you do in the world. You're changing the world. The system is being broken by you and you're amazing.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
So we've got Liv Wickedly and Melly Wolf on the podcast today. They are as we mentioned, the space holders, the mission runners, and the leaders of Babe Philosophy. But what I really want to know is like the soul sister story. I want to know the juice of how you met. And you mentioned it briefly on an Instagram post that you were both in like the deep, deep darkness of heartbreak and that you found each other. And, you know, it's just such a special story that we don't tell enough. We always tell the romantic stories of how we meet the man, but when do we tell the fucking soul sister story? So I'd love to bring on the bestie conversation. How did you two meet? And what made you want to start a podcast together? And this might be chaos because I don't know how you're going to organize who's going to speak what. I'm just going to let you just fucking run with it.
Fuck yeah. This is such a good question. I love that this is how you're starting because Liv and I always talk about how like this is the most important part about what we are and who we are and what we represent. So like, thank you for going straight to like the heart of everything that we are, because everything we are is our relationship when it comes to Babe Philosophy. So like, fuck yeah.
Like we're just gonna all cry for the whole episode.
Mama, do you want to start or do you want me to start?
Yeah, I'll start up to the point that we like met at that pool top party, and then you can kind of take it from there.
Go.
We'll just weave it together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was friends with one of her former partners through my business partner at the time. So completely different business partner, completely different live, completely different life. But I was over at her former partner's house, and she was moving from California to Austin, Texas, which is where I had been for a really long time. And Zach, my business partner, and her former partner, Justin, were both just talking her way the fuck up. And they were looking me dead in the eyes. And they were like, you're going to love her. She's amazing. She's totally your flavor. And they're just like saying all these amazing things about her. And I just immediately had a girl crush. I was like, oh my God, I have to meet this woman. Like these two men who love and know me really well are like, you're going to love her. So I think maybe like a couple weeks later, a mutual friend was having a rooftop birthday party at their like pool area at their apartment. And I showed up, and I was told that Melly was going to be there. So as soon as I freaking walked in, I was like, where is she? It was like one of the first things I did. I like put my stuff down. I was like, hi, Justin, where's your girl? And she was in the pool, and I just like went right up to her. I don't even really remember what I said. Full disclosure, I was definitely on some Molly at the time. It was a party. Come on now. This was like during my like the height of my rave festival days. So I saw her, and like, oh my God, she's just like the most beautiful, like little goddess, forest nymph, angel human I had ever seen. There was like just a glow around her. And I was just like, hi, I'm Liv. It's so nice to meet you. And I think even in the first like 5 minutes, I was like, we're going to be best friends. I don't fully remember, but I do remember just like talking to her and having like just this instant admiration for her. And it was so clear. It was just like a very innocent admiration. It was very much like, she's amazing and precious and wonderful. There wasn't any like garbage or self-judgment or anything like that. So I got very excited about her very off the rip.
Yeah, this is so good. I'm so excited to talk about this because that day that Liv and I met, I was having like the fucking worst day. I felt like a piece of shit. I felt so alone. I felt so like worthless. I just felt so terrible. And she came up to me and like started talking to me like I was just this most vibrant, wonderful fairy, like she said. And I was like, oh my God, this woman came to like, she felt like a fairy godmother to me. Like she came at the time where I like needed it so badly. And, I feel like these kinds of stories aren't that uncommon when it comes to female connection. Like I've had a lot of experiences where I've met a woman and I'm just like, oh my God, you're incredible. Oh my God, I love you. Oh my God, I'm so excited about you. And we've had this like instant connection and we have this instant fire. And I really feel like the main thing that sets me and Liv apart from all of those experiences is the fact that we have like just stuck. Like we've literally been ride or die. Like it has literally been rupture, repair, rupture, repair, rupture, repair, rupture, repair, rupture, repair, rupture, repair. And I think that's really like where the juice of our entire relationship comes into play is that Liv and I have gotten into so many ruptures. We have had so many opportunities to walk away from each other and we haven't. And I think that that's like the main thing that for me just like oh it like I can even just feel it right now in my heart where just like I trust this woman with everything that I am and everything that I could possibly every scary part of me, I trust her with it. And it's not because of anything other than the fact that we have ruptured and repaired so many fucking times. And she has not walked away every opportunity she had to walk away. And I have not walked away at every opportunity I had to walk away. And I've had so many other relationships with women that have been so exciting, so fun, so connected, so like sparky, just like any other, just like a romantic relationship. It's like the die hard, the spark leads to this like flame that leads to this dying hard kind of thing. And like, even though there was a spark with me and Liv, and I've experienced that with other women, but even though there was a spark with me and Liv, even though there was this fire, we kept stoking it. Like we kept stoking it. And every time it started to die, we just like oxygen, oxygen, like let's get it back up. And I've never experienced that with another woman before. And I think that that's such a Not, at least not to this degree. I'm sure I've had rupture and repair. I have a lot of other girlfriends that I'm super close to. But the difference between me and those relationships and this relationship is just that we've not only repaired the ruptures, but we've allowed the ruptures to take us deeper in to the relationship. Like we've allowed the differences to take us deeper into the relationship. And we approach every rupture as like, no matter how much I'm triggering her, no matter how much she's triggering me, it's like we always come forward and we're like, oh, fuck, I am at my edge. I am taking this personally and I trust you, bitch. So I know there's something in me I need to figure out. So I'm gonna fucking handle my shit and I'll get back to you because out is not an option. Like that's something that we always say to each other, that out is not an option. Like there's just this radical responsibility that we have in our relationship that I don't think is very common in feminine dynamics, because a lot of the time it's like, well, you didn't show up for me here and you didn't come to my birthday party and you didn't do this and you didn't do that and you didn't hold my hand through this experience and you didn't, and that just doesn't exist in this container. It's like I might feel that way. I might be like, well, you didn't hold my hand when I needed you to. And then there'll be this like, and Liv will be like, okay, I can see how you feel that way. And then I'll be like, you know what? And it wasn't your responsibility. It's like that's the flavor. That's what we do, and that's what makes it different. So, that's our relationship.
I really want to normalize that as well, because how normal is that in a romantic partnership? Like if you have one argument with your partner, you don't fucking walk out. You expect a repair. But I think it's like you said, in female dynamics in a sisterhood, if there's like a rupture, normally what I'm hearing is that's it. But having that woman in your life, the one that you can own your shit and own up to, like, I was a bit of a bitch yesterday. Can you forgive me? Or like I've got one friend who we're super close. We work together. We lived together just now for like a year and a half. She introduced me to my now husband. She's like co-facilitating my retreat. And I will literally get into like weird anxious attachment things with her, and she's like the only woman in my life where I'm like, I feel unworthy of our love today. I feel unworthy of our relationship today. I feel like you're pulling away from me and I miss you. It's like I get the same needy shit that I get with men, but only with her. And it's like there's some woman in our life that will just provoke that kind of depth of relationship that feels like it's more, like
It's karmic.
yeah, and mature and fucking mature. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm just gonna own my shit and I'm gonna like grow and expand through this woman. And I think that's really special and actually quite rare. And yeah, I want to ask you about that, because you're kind of bringing this depth of conversation into babe philosophy and the podcast, that whenever I talk to women about these topics, they're like, oh, I wish I could talk to my friends about this. Like you're bringing those conversations forward that women are craving to have with other women. And I want to know like your tips for getting to that depth with another woman. Like, how do you think you got that deep with each other? How do you think you created such a rare, deep connection like you have? Are there any tips for women out there that are like, I want a fucking friend like that?
Fuck yeah. I have
Yeah,
some,
for
but
sure.
I'm sure you have
Yeah.
some too. You
Well,
first.
I really love that you kind of equated the way we're showing up with each other, the way that, we're stereotypically expected to show up with a romantic partner, whether that's male or female. In Melly and Mai's cases, we tend to choose male partners despite our queerness. And all that to say, I made a big shift in my actual perception in the face of this relationship with Melly. So we were like, friends, and when we come together, we drop in really deep, but we weren't spending a like high quantity of time together. Our friendship for the first I don't know, 18 months to 2 years was like very ebb and flow. You know, we would not see each other for months at a time. You know, we just have our like touch bases via text or whatever it might be. And then we would, when we would come together, it would be like, go really deep. So we didn't really have too many bumps in the road up front because we just weren't that exposed to each other. And then, you know, hilariously enough, we both left Austin right around the same time. And then we both broke up with our partners, you know, the biggest loves of our lives, right around the same time. And we really just connected in that space because it was like, oh, sister's going through the same thing as me. She sees me, she gets it. And I've always felt with Melly, like we're the same text, different font. You know, we're kind of at our core, very, very similar in the way that we approach life and the way that we approach ourselves. And, you know, I think the way that we want to experience our lives. So we've always kind of had some like rooted core values that were similar, which is also something that you would want in a life partnership, right? Well, when I was, you know, kind of processing my breakup, I really realized the conditioning of like, putting all of me into like one container, period, but then one container with a man, and then expecting that man to be able to meet me everywhere all the time, which is actually insane. Just like the very differences of our actual biological natures, that's just not going to happen. There are going to be places where, like, even if I had a really mature, attuned, divinely masculine man, all he's going to be able to do is just witness me. He's not going to be able to like fill that space up with me or hold me in this way that I need to be held. And as I'm working through my breakup, and Melly's just kind of naturally attuning to me and naturally showing up and naturally holding me in these spaces, I was like, oh shit, like I think maybe a woman was supposed to like occupy this space the whole time. Duh, like it just became so obvious. So I started reorienting my perceptions of life partner away from them needing to be romantic or away from it needing to be any gender or away from it needing to involve anything other than someone that I would choose to show up for and who I know has my back. Um, so as I started doing that, funnily enough, all my little codependencies, you brought up anxious attachment, all my little codependencies started sneaking over into the container with Melly. And I think that that's really where we started to like really experience the opportunity for those ruptures where, you know, I would be misperceiving her or I'd be feeling anxious about our connection and not really have that in check and not be able to hold it. And so it would project out onto her. Things would come out sideways, you know, however they were coming out. And I would say, like, if there's a pro tip at all, and I think this is true for all relationships, but I practiced it very, very heavily with Melly, it's to recognize that whatever experience you're having is your experience, right? Like, Melly might be contributing or playing a part or doing a thing that also has something to whatever. I'm going to trust Melly to be on top of that. I don't need to like babysit that. I don't need to audit that. I'm just going to trust her to have that. I need to look at myself and say, what am I contributing here? How is this experience I'm having with Melly actually an experience I have had over and over and over and over again? And what can I do to lean into my own self-trust and find the place in me where I can kind of see all of this for what it is, even if I'm fucking like freaking the fuck out. So I don't want to speak for her, but I made sure I was very intentional when I was feeling something around her. And I wasn't freaking perfect. I was super messy. Sometimes the best of my intentions still spilled water all over the freaking kitchen. But I made sure I put that kind of focus and care into, okay, I'm contributing something here. I'm having this experience. And maybe there's something for Melly to change. But if I don't need Melly to change at all, if she doesn't need to change a damn thing, what do I need to show up in? And there was this like place in me where I had to be willing to lose her to show up that way. And I think that for me was like the, okay, can I get to the place where I'm okay losing this relationship? And can I see that I'm fully responsible for this experience that I'm having? And I'm saying that very simply because it's simple to think about, but it is really, really, really fucking hard to practice. It's difficult to do, but at the end of the day, I was doing it for me first and foremost. And then the byproduct would be I'm like fertilizing this garden of our friendship. That's probably the main perspective and thing that I focused on. And then, you know, I can like kind of let Melly focus, but really considering her a life partner and wanting to do the fucking work, I think is really important. Not seeing it as this like side thing, like girls come and go, girls come and go. Actually, the girls stay, the boys come and go, in my experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I resonate with that, and I feel very similarly. And that is something that is just the energy of the life partnership. It's like Liv and I both see each other. Like we always say, like, you're my life partner. Like, you know, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Like, we are just very attuned to the reality that, like, this is gonna be forever. So we need to do our own work to make that work because we don't want to be in something forever that isn't working. And honestly, the approach that I think Liv and I both take is more similar to a romantic partnership than it is to like what you would traditionally see if is a female relationship looking like, or like a platonic relationship looking like. And like it's not like we don't have the intimacy piece, like the sex piece that you would have with the partner, but like we literally approach it through the lens of like, you are my partner. I choose you. What work do I need to do to like keep this relationship clean and healthy? Like, how do I need to show up for myself, for you, and for the relationship in order to like keep this space clean? And we always talk about that, me and Liv. It's like we all like our top priority is keeping the space clean, like keeping the like metaphorical space clean. And whenever it feels dirty, it's like we communicate that and we're like, okay, I need to go take my time to clean up whatever mess I'm making. You need to go take whatever time you need to take to clean up whatever mess you're making. And I think the other piece for me too is just which is kind of implied in what I just said and what Liv just said, but to bring actual words to it, it's just the like radical acceptance of like who we are. It's like we've had to, and this hasn't always been the case. Like we have definitely had expectations of each other in the beginning. We've definitely wanted each other to be a certain way in the beginning, and over time we've just kind of stopped. And it doesn't mean that I'm not disappointed. There'll be times where I want her to hang out with me and she won't be available, not because she's not free. Like maybe she has free time, but like she's just not, like free time doesn't translate to availability. Like she's just not available. And I'll be like, well, that's disappointing, but like it is what it is, and I have to accept her for who she is and how she is and what she's available for. And we just have this like radical um acceptance of who the other person is and where they're at, and we meet each other where we're at. And I think that's something that I've experienced in so many female relationships and so many friendships. There's rupture over who you need me to be and who I need you to be. And it's like, that's some fucking bullshit, honestly. Like, it just doesn't make any fucking sense. It's like, if Liv isn't available to hang out with me, I don't actually want her to hang out with me. I want her to take care of herself. And that's something that me and Liv do all the time. We thank each other for taking care of each other, like for taking care of ourselves. Like when I'm like, hey, mama, I just can't do this today. I'm letting you know, like, I'm not available. She'll be like, thank you for taking care of yourself, bitch. Good job. And I'll do the same. It's like, we thank each other for disappointing each other. You know what I mean? It's like, that's some fucking hard shit.
Yep.
Fuck yeah. Thank you for bringing up the expectation piece. And I think everyone listening can apply that to every fucking relationship in their life.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow with romantic partners, the expectations just like they're just so much more intense. They're so much more intense. And I'm like, why can we in sisterhood like celebrate each other, choosing ourselves, prioritizing ourselves? Why can we not take things as personally in sisterhood, but once like sex or romance is involved, somehow the expectations are like wildly more intense? And so I think what you just said can be seriously also applied to romantic partnership, because it's so fucking important. Also, you guys are obviously romantic in your own beautiful way. I guess what I'm trying to say is sexual partnerships. Wet and Worthy Woman is not just the name of this podcast, but it is the reclamation transformation method that I have created from 8 years of personal homecoming after sexual trauma. I have taught this reclamation method to hundreds of women, and I'm about to go deeper, darker, wilder, and more unhinged than ever inside the Wet and Worthy Woman retreat. We are gathering October 9th, 2025 on Tenerife in Spain, the island of the heart chakra, so you can fall fucking madly in love with the woman that they've been trying to silence and burn for centuries. We will descend down into the feminine underworld and take back all the parts of you that you have been conditioned to shame, suppress, silence, and banish. We will be taking back your voice, your body, your expression, your sacred feminine anatomy, the part of you they told you to ignore, so that you can get on that plane feeling unbelievably devoted to yourself, no longer putting yourself last, no longer saying yes to everyone else except yourself, walking into the bedroom knowing that you're gonna leave absolutely satisfied, no more performing, no more faking it. It is time to awaken the wet and worthy woman inside of you in this revolutionary space where we weave together the sacred with the saucy, the divine with the dirty. If you're over the yoga and meditation methods, if you're over the feminine energy workshops that are not inviting your most important feminine portal, your fucking pussy, into the woman circle, then this is the space for you where we weave it all together. So you're invited. Early bird is open. There is only 9 spots. This is an extremely intimate experience for a close circle of women. And I've just thrown in some juicy added bonuses for you, including one-to-one privates with me. So you can currently come into this experience for like £1,000. I'm going to drop all the links into the show notes. I want to see you here. I want to be with you. I want to be in that sauna with you, giggling at midnight whilst we reclaim the most forbidden parts of ourselves. It's all happening in October 2025, and I will see you there. Fuck yes.
That's such a good point too, because I mean, I have a fiance, I'm partnered, and I have been able to improve my relationship exponentially with my man through my relationship with Liv, because I learn how to show up in this way with Liv, because Liv, even though she is a trigger, even though she does test me a lot, my partner, like you said, is an even fucking wider mirror, right? An even more challenging mirror, to the point where sometimes I can't actually receive the lessons because they feel like a fucking fire hose in my face. So what I've noticed in myself is I learn the lesson with Liv, because she kind of like feeds me a trickle of water that I can actually drink. And then I go to Matt, my partner, and I apply that. And my relationship with Matt has gotten so much deeper, so much more profound, so much more understanding, so much more radically accepting. And I attest so much of that to what I've learned and through my relationship with Liv and through what Liv's taught me about relating.
Yeah, I have a very, very similar experience with Melly and all of my other relationships in my life. And honestly, with my mom, that's been one of the biggest places that Melly has been supportive for me, just being who she is and operating the way that she does. And I think with like when you were talking about with our romantic partners where there's like sex and intimacy involved, like there's so much more entanglement and enmeshment. And I think a lot of that has to do with the way that we're conditioned, right? And we don't actually like we don't give children the space to like really grow up and fully form into a whole and complete human before they start, fucking each other. Quite frankly, like kids get into that stuff 11, 12, 13, 14, like way, 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 way young without any guidance. A lot of, tabooness put around it, which makes it more interesting and intriguing. And then we have a severe, like we have even less space for that emotional maturity and learning how to do all of those things as well. So I think in that space, you know, if if I was started having sex with my best friend, I probably would start bringing some of the like crazier things to the table just because that whole part of me hasn't. I mean, I've done a lot of work up to this point, and there's still more I would like to do to get to where I would like to be within myself. But I think if you can find an intimate, romantic friendship somewhere, you have that space to play with the emotions, to play with the head heart coherence, which I think has been the biggest thing for me with Melly. It's like because I love her so much and because I've chosen to be willing to do whatever it takes because out is not an option. That's a choice that I made for myself. So it's like whatever's happening, I know my choice here, and I'm kind of able to like recognize, oh, this is like noise from a sister wound that I started experiencing when I was in fourth grade. I actually have an opportunity here with Melly to like say, hey, I have this sister wound coming up. It's probably not about you at all. This is what's happening in my freaking head. Can you help? You kind of have that space to play with it. And then to
Yeah,
actually
we
like try
never
and wrap.
blame each other for shit. That's a
Oh, no,
big one.
ever. We are
Yeah.
very, very, very precise with our languaging. And if we fuck it up, we roll it back and say, okay, what I meant to say was this. But it's almost like this beautiful playground, like, when I was a little girl, I would do make believe with my girlfriends. And it's like the idea of the make believe and the play, like that stuff can get applied out into the real world, right? Like you build confidence in that space, you build creativity in that space, you build trust in that space, even though you're playing. And then you can go out and apply that in, larger containers, the larger world. And
It's
so
training
that's
grounds.
yeah, it is totally training ground. So it's almost like I actually now am to the point where I get genuinely excited when some dumb crap trauma thing shows up with Melly. I'm like, oh, thank God it showed up with Melly. Okay, like this has been in my sphere in my life for such a long time and it's not serving me anymore. And I have an opportunity with somebody that I deeply love and trust to like face this. So there's also this, we both have this, we're both very like intense about our limitations and our limiting self-beliefs and our shadows. And we're very much like, fucking face it, face your fear. Millie even has here's your compass tattooed on her, which as soon as she showed me that tattoo, I was like, fear is my compass too, bitch. I'm hopping on that train. So there's like this, again, this like mutual desire for our own individual experience to be, beautiful and wild and true and authentic. And we just bring that into the container with us as well. Yeah.
Mm. This conversation about this kind of sisterhood needs to be said because I think so many women don't believe it's possible. And I'm just like, fuck yes. And I'm feeling so many things because I just moved like 3,000 miles away from all of my friends and I haven't got any like I made like one friend here and I've been here for 1 month in Spain. So I feel super proud of myself. But also like making friends as an adult is scary, like you have to go up to these grown-ass women and be like, do you want to be my friend? I'm all alone here. I'd
Mhm.
love some company. But it's like making me feel warm and fuzzy, just kind of, yeah, just feeling what's possible. And I'd love to know like what is the hottest thing or like what's the main subject that you two come up talking about? Because I notice definitely in my female friendships that are really deep, we talk so much about like our abandonment wounds. It's all about like the bullshit triggers that come up in relationships, right? And we're like, and then he did this and and then I got really triggered and thought he was going to abandon me, and my best friend will just be like laughing at me because she's like, that's ridiculous. It's obviously your trigger. And it's so like healing to be able to have a friend that calls you out on your bullshit and doesn't just go, oh yeah, he's an asshole. It's like, no, call me out on my shit. I want women in my life that fucking mirror my shit to me and say, actually, that wasn't him, that was you. You need to look at that. And so I'm just curious, like, what other topics for you? What other topics that have blown up on your podcast? Like, what is the topic you notice that women are like, we need to talk about this, and just go into it for like hours?
That's a great question. And I feel like all of the topics that we talk about are the ones that are on Babe Philosophy, which is like why we created the podcast, because we were like, our conversations are so fire. We need to have them on podcast. But I mean, I relate so much to what you were saying, Charlotte, about the abandonment wound thing. Like Liv and I both have that. And we also, like the worthiness, the abandonment wound, the worthiness wound, the abandonment wound, the I'm too much, I'm insane, I'm crazy idea. That one is a big one for us, and I think that's why it's become such a centerpiece of our podcast and our message, the too muchness. Because Liv and I, that's like really the core of like our relating style, is that we're just so fucking intense. Like we just go so hard, and it's something that we've both been very ashamed of in our lives. And I think that we have found like solace in each other in that space, because it's like this breath of fresh air where it's like, oh, you do shit like this too? Like, thank fucking God there's somebody else that is so fucking intense, because and now we do this thing where like I'll come to Liv and I'll be like, I feel crazy, I feel intense, like this is what my brain is saying, this is what my brain is doing, and she'll be like, you're fucking insane, bitch. Like, it's like that raw honesty of like, yeah, you are fucking crazy and I love you for it. And it's beautiful, and it's so grounding, right? To like hear the truth, and for the truth to be okay. It's like, because it's so much more common to encounter the opposite, right? So much more common to encounter people that are like, you're crazy, I don't want anything to do with you, I don't love that part of you, right? Or your friend is like, you're not crazy, it's not your fault, it's him, it's her, it's anybody else, you didn't do anything. And it's almost like encouraging the negative feedback loop of like spiraling deeper into the craziness. Whereas like Liv and I will just be like, yeah, you're insane and you're allowed to be here as long as you need to. Just know that you're totally out of touch with reality. And that's a fucking gift. Like, that's a fucking gift, because it's the opposite of those two things that I just described. It's one, yes, you are being crazy and you're going to need to get over this. And two, I'm going to be right here and I love this part of you still. And that's like, that I think is the majority of our conversations.
Yeah, absolutely. And, just to like point out a nuance in what Melly's saying is we both live by and have completely adopted an and mentality. So, there's that improv technique where if you want an improv to keep going, which all of life is a fucking improv, y'all. If you want the improv to keep going, you have to say yes and. You can't say but or no or block. It just has to be an and so that the whole thing stays cohesive. So when we approach ourselves and each other, there's a pretty much what she said. Yes, you are crazy, and it's okay for you to be here. And that's not reality. Reality is this other thing. And so I think that that has been the most expansive kind of like technique that I've used in myself personally. And then also I just see it translate so intensely well here. And Melly is a really beautiful with the and. She's actually been a really good model for me how and is and because a lot of the things that I thought made me crazy or weird or like too intense or too much. I watch her do them and I'm like, oh, that's actually really sexy. I like watching her spin out and be crazy and then cry, but then get soft, but then get fierce and like say what's true and then like step back in line and like show up while she's bawling and crying in a hot mess. I'm like, that's actually super fucking hot and I'm into that vibe. Yeah, so it's almost like there's so much reclamation and permission in her being willing to be seen in her, what did you called it, like a sacred mess, I think, on our podcast. Yeah, I loved that, in her sacred mess, and then to be have the courage to be vulnerable enough to let her, see me and mine. And it's done so much, I want to say like cauterizing of wounds, to let myself be seen and to have all the parts be seen and to have them all be named, even the parts that I don't like, to have her go, yeah, no, that's fucked up, dude. I wouldn't do that, or however. She's always really graceful, but I'll have these moments where I'm like, okay, Melly, I'm done with this shit. I need some Mama Melly medicine. And then she just goes, okay, well, what's coming through for me is, and then she just reads me and I can feel it. Like my nervous system's like, oh God, she saw that, she noticed that. And then I'm like, oh, she saw me. Oh, she noticed me. Oh God, she sees all of me and she's still sitting here. Oh, she's sitting here and she's offering me genuine, honest feedback. Oh my God, this bitch loves me enough to be courageous enough to tell me what the fuck is happening. Ah, and for me, especially if you're like a too much woman, that is like a gallon of water in a fucking desert to have someone willing to be like, hey, you're doing this and it's probably having this impact in your life. Because one of my biggest sister wounds is like women will just bottle up how they feel around me and they won't tell me anything until they can't handle it anymore. They blow up at me, call me whatever fucking names they need to call me so it's not their fault. And then I'm just sitting there like, well, what the fuck? Why wouldn't you have said something to me a year ago? Why didn't you say this to me a week ago when this came up? Like, so it's honestly like if you don't have a real bitch in your corner who's willing to be like, dude, what are you doing? Like this is not working for you. You said you wanted this and you're doing this. If you don't have that, you don't have like a real friend, if you will. You might have an acquaintance or a party friend and there's places for everybody in your life. But I just really think if you're gonna like if you want a friend, you got to be willing to like you got to be willing to be seen and you got to be willing to hear stuff that's fucking really hard to hear, but then you can trust that on the other side of that it actually feels really fucking good. I'll never forget when Melly told me I was intense and I didn't really realize I was intense in
She
those
was like,
terms.
I'm no, like it was like, "Ugh,
I was
I
like,
don't want to be
you think I'm
intense."
intense?
And then I was like, bitch, I'm intense. And she was like, oh yeah, and I love you. Oh fuck yeah. I'm so intense. So it's less about like the topics that we talk about and it's more about like how we talk about them. Because we can go into anything that way, right? It's like sisterhood wounds, abandonment wounds, like problems with our partners, problems with men, like literal, like just moments of like, oh my God, recognizing our own fucking dumbass patterns in life, our blind spots. Like, we love blind spots. Blind spots are like fucking crack. We just like go so hard in blind spots. Yeah. Yeah, it's everything.
This really reminds me, and like just to give everyone, obviously go and listen to Babe Philosophy because then you're gonna have these conversations fucking modeled to you. Like you can listen in to two women mirroring to each other their shit and growing and expanding through it without taking it personally and having like a cat fight. So go and listen to Babe Philosophy. But another thing that my friend and I did was on the note of the abandonment wound. We spent a whole day with each other doing like the abandonment wound retreat. And we bought teddies for ourselves, for our inner childs, which we now have all the time to this day. Like I sleep with mine, and my husband's like, are we really going to have Bruno the bear in the bed tonight? And I'm like, yeah, it's a Bruno day. I need you and Bruno right now.
So cute.
Like we did so many things, but one of the rituals was we wrote down on a piece of paper the like shittiest little most pathetic petty story that our mind was telling us about our partners because we're both in partnership and we're both triggered all the fucking time. So we both wrote down all the things our mind was trying to tell us. And it was so interesting because then we read it out to each other and the other woman just had to laugh. Like the other woman just had to laugh in her face about like the worst, shittiest, darkest story that her mind was telling her, so that we could rewire and our mind could be like, oh, this is funny, this is insane, this is bullshit, so much so that I can just laugh at it. And like these other people are just going to laugh at it, that your mind then doesn't really take it seriously anymore. Your mind's just like, oh, okay, that thing's funny now. Like,
That's fucking genius. That is like
I
the
love
best
that
idea I've
so
ever
much.
heard of in my entire fucking life.
it's kind of like this whole therapy method called existential kink. I actually have a podcast with yeah, you might have heard about it, but it's that. Like you make
Yeah.
and so now when my abandonment shit comes up with my partner, he's like, bend over, and he spanks me. He's like, this is a shitty little story. I'm gonna spank you. You're being fucking crazy. And now it's
Oh
like
my
this
God.
funny hot thing instead of like this deep triggering. You know, if I'm going into my story and I'm being bratty and I'm just like, I'm writing this story that you don't want to spend time with me because you've been surfing 5 times this week and I'm here all on my own. And he's like, bend the fuck over. You know, it's like no more bullshit. And like to do that with your friends as well and just have someone laugh at your shit is really alchemizing so much more than going like, okay, I need to do the shadow work. I need to heal this. I need to blah, 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 blah. And going into that like non-accepting spiral. Like what you're saying is when someone else accepts you and sees you and just like says, yeah, but I still love you. That is the most radically like fast track wholesome healing method ever to have someone just laugh at your shit so you can laugh at
Yeah.
yourself.
I fucking love that you do that with your partner because I do that with my partner. The same thing, except for he slaps me in the face. I'm like, you need to slap me in the face right now. At first, it was very hard for him, but now he's fucking great at it. He just smacks the shit out of me and is like, get your shit together. Like, this is not you. Get it together. And I'm like, thank you. Yeah, it's so fucking healing. Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
And same thing when I talk to Liv too. Like I'll tell her something, I'm like, this is my story, this is what's happening, and she'll respond. She'll be like, that's hilarious, bitch. You're so fucking wrong. And it's okay that you're there, but like you're a fucking idiot. Like that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. So, and it's fucking amazing. It's so amazing. Like it doesn't work for me when I'm spinning out for somebody to be like, it's okay, you're okay, it's gonna be fine. I'm like, no, hit me, smack me, laugh in my face, like change the energy, like do something different. It's like in everything everywhere all at once, where you have to do like something totally outlandish and random to jump timelines. I don't know if have you
Yes.
seen that, Charlotte?
No.
Oh my
They
God,
have
it's
to do,
amazing.
yeah, in order to jump like quantum leap, they have to do something completely random, like staple your face or like eat poop or like just do something totally absurd. And that's how you jump timelines. And it's so fucking true. It's like you need to have that like unexpected, like I'm telling you my problems and you're laughing in my face. That will shift my timeline. That'll shift my like wiring to be like, oh, this is funny. Like this is stupid. I can get over this now. Instead of having somebody be like, it's okay, it's fine, it's okay, it doesn't work.
So it's so I love that we're having this conversation because I love getting roasted specifically by women that I love. I love a good belly roast. Actually, so I was living in on my mom's property the year that I was going through the breakup, and my apartment was downstairs, and she could always tell when I had talked to Melly because I'd be cackling, laughing for like an hour and a half because this bitch is fucking hilarious. And when she roasts, it's fucking fire. All her Latina spice comes out, and it's great. But I was scrolling through Insta, I don't know, maybe like a month or two ago, and I saw there are these older women who have a podcast together, and they were reading this case study. And this study basically said if you are in a friendship where you can make fun of each other, where you can roast each other, essentially, you're actually more likely to have depth of intimacy, longevity, more trust. Like you just have a better quality relationship across the fucking board. And I'm like watching this and I'm like, oh my God, that's the relationship that I have with Melly. That's so amazing. And I just have to like, I wish I need to go find this podcast because I want to listen to it. But it's like these two older women and they're probably in their 60s. And literally the one reading the paper, she looks at her friend, she's like, yeah, so I just wanted to let you know you're looking old as fuck, bitch. And that was her like roasting her. And then her friend was like, shut the fuck up. And I was like, that is exactly how I want to age. Just like none of this is serious. And it can all just be fun. It can all be play. Even when you're like, I'm at the point now where Oh my gosh. And I think Melly and I texted each other this morning. We've been giving each other like updates in the morning about how our day is because we've been kind of going through like a giant rebirth portal is what it feels like. So all this like ego shit's coming up. We both had really disrupted sleep. Our nervous systems are fried or upgrading, whichever way you want to look at that. And literally this morning, she's like, well, I only got 4 hours of sleep. Um, looks like I'm gonna have the most energy for the best worst day ever. And then she had Matt help her with the slap this morning. And then me this morning, my inner critic is just like literally popping off. And now we're at the point where we are like talking about these things with humor, even though like inside I feel like I'm fucking dying and I feel like there's no way I'm gonna make it through the day, still fucking narrating it like it's a fucking comedy. And I think if you take anything from this podcast, like that might be a game changer for people if you can just really learn to laugh at yourself, and laugh at your friends and not take everything so goddamn seriously. There's so much on fire right now. It's like you're gonna laugh or kill yourself, and I just keep choosing to laugh. Melly helps a lot.
Fuck yeah. Thank you. This is fucking healing, y'all. It's not about getting obsessed and addicted and digging and digging and digging and trying to find problems. It's like, where can we lighten up? Not in a bypassy way, but in like oh, I'm making a problem for myself right now. Like I'm actually fine. I'm actually fine, but my mind is making these problems. And of course, sometimes life serves us real problems. So yeah, thanks for honoring the humor here. We love it. We love it. Little bit of laugh medicine. Talking of like babe philosophy and the philosophy behind what you're doing and like asking these questions, getting women to ask better questions. This might be a hard one, but I'm curious what question you wish that every woman would ask herself.
Mm, that's easy for me. For me, the question that I wish every woman would ask herself is why? Like, why am I
Is
doing this?
literally the first. I was like, why? Ask yourself why you're doing
Yeah,
what you're
just
doing.
ask yourself why. Like in every single behavior, every single habit, every single choice, every single circumstance, just ask yourself why. Like why am I doing this? Why is this in my life? Because we move through our lives just kind of doing the things that people do. We do things the way that maybe our parents, you know, told us to do, maybe school told us to do a certain way, maybe, the system kind of is just the way you do things, right? Like even the things that just seem so, even the things that seem exciting in life, even the things you're looking forward to, even the things like marriage, having children, like doing the things that's like, oh my God, being a woman, it's like you look forward to getting married and starting a family. It's like, but why? But why? Like, actually, why? And it's not that the thing's bad. It's not that you shouldn't be doing those things, but why are you doing them? Are you doing them because it's something that you actually want to do? Is it a way that you actually want to spend your time and something that actually feels like a big accomplishment for you personally in your life? Or is this a societal imposition? Is this something that an idea that you adopted somewhere along the line and it was indoctrinated in you without you asking why? And that was something that I had to like really fucking question for myself because since I can remember, I have been so excited to get married and have babies. Like I am just like, I want to fucking get married and have babies. That's all I want to fucking do. I don't care. Like I just want to get married and have babies. And recently I had this like really fucking wild existential crisis and like death of sorts where I really sat with my why. I was like, why do I want this? Holy shit, I don't know. I can't answer that question. Like, I can feel the want in me, but I don't know why. And that's weird. Like, that's really weird when you have a want for something and a need for something and you don't know why. It's like if somebody were to ask me back then, like, why do you want to get married? I'd be like, well, I just want to have a person. And I would just say things. I would just say things that weren't specific to marriage that actually don't make sense in my mind, that just feel like a justification. And I think that the nuance piece there is like, don't ask yourself why so that you can like justify anything. Like the justification piece is actually a tangential, like not helpful piece as well. It's like really the true why is very simple. It's very clean. It's very clear and actually doesn't require justification. So that for me is the big one. It's like, can we ask ourselves why more often? And this, and even and like we, Charlotte was on our podcast yesterday and she shared all about her like experience with sex and intimacy and the trauma in that space and how so many women go through that. Like that is another place where women are not asking themselves why. Why are you saying yes to sleeping with this man? Is it because you want to sleep with this man? Or is it because you feel like you have to sleep with this man? Like, why are you doing what you're doing? Just why in every single category? Why are you going to grad school? Are you going to grad school because your parents told you you had to? Or is it because you actually want to learn this material? Like, why are you doing what you're doing in life?
Yeah, I'm going to double down on that. That was the exact first question that popped up for me. And just to maybe fortify what Melly has said, I think in my presentation and certainly my self-perception have always felt, independent and powerful and loud and strong. And I think most people would look at me and go, mm-hmm. And I thought I was too smart to get got by the systems, too smart to get got by rom-coms and silly girl things and the Tiger Beat magazine that I was reading. I just thought that I was better than that. LOL, I'm a human. Humility always catches up with you. But I'm realizing like the more I'm really rooting into why am I doing what I'm doing? What is this serving in my life? Does this align with my values? Which is really asking myself these hard questions. And even in small things now, like um, why am I posting this on Instagram right now? Am I doing this because I kind of want some attention right now and I'm looking for a dopamine hit? Even if it's laced with some profound message, why am I reaching out to this guy friend of mine? Do I actually care what he's doing right now, or do I want some attention? Why am I eating this particular food? And not in this way where I'm like over analyzing and like getting anxious, but genuine fucking curiosity. And it is blowing my ever loving mind how often I get to a place like Melly's describing where it just kind of goes in a circle and I can feel that it's like it's wired in my nervous system, but it's not actually me. It's not connected to me. It could be, I could choose it, but I didn't necessarily choose that thing. It's just a place where I didn't consciously explore and I just put something on autopilot. It's like what was fed to me by my friends, by school, by media, by my parents, by just literally observing the world. And so many of my choices, the way I've related to myself, the way I've related to other people, are just littered with these like little, I don't know, they feel like algorithms, just like these little equations that don't actually suit me and don't serve me. And the more that I'm willing to, with genuine curiosity, go, wait, why do I want to do this? I can feel the difference in my freaking body. Like I can feel the difference between like I want to go to grad school so that I can have this degree so I can put it on my resume so I can look fancy at this job interview. Like I can feel that versus I want to go to grad school because this information is so fucking juicy and I know I'm going to really enjoy the structure of school. I'm going to enjoy having people to interact with while I learn this material, having a professor whose brain I can pick while I'm reading all of this exciting stuff. I want to go to grad school because I fucking feel that inside of me. There's such a distinct difference. And I think that the asking of the why, besides clearing out the clutter in my mind, has helped me really reconnect to my intuition, which I think is just inherently feminine and inherently cut off in our systems from a very, very early age. So ask yourself why. Yeah, I'm gonna back that up.
Thank you. Fuck yes. And this is that kind of like that intuition piece. Like you said, it's our feminine truth beyond what we've been conditioned and trained and brainwashed to provide and be as women. And that's why my whole methodology is like being the woman you were told not to be. Like that's how I fucking healed from sexual trauma. Like I was told that it was my fault for the short skirt So I wore the short skirt in groups of women that would encourage me and make me feel safe to wear the short skirt again. I was told it was because the way I was dancing in the club. So I became a fucking heels dancer and I started taking my clothes off on stage and getting paid for it in front of 200 people. And I was like, I'm going to fucking be the woman that they told me not to be. And that is my medicine. And that's how I came back to my own wholeness, is by like breaking the rules. But I can definitely relate to you, Liv, on the thing of like, oh, I'm too cool for the system. Like I can never be programmed, you know. I went to Thailand when I should have gone to university, and then I stayed backpacking for like 3 years. And then, you know, I got my first job when I was 14 because I wanted to be so independent that I like didn't need anyone. It's that like Aquarius rising, I think. It's like the rebel in me that's like, fuck the system. And then yeah, a funny thing happened this year where I needed to get married. And I was like, I'm probably not, I don't need to get married. I've also been engaged 3 times.
Wow.
It got to the
Congratulations.
point, where I was like, I'm just not going to do the marriage part. Every time I get engaged, it's like a curse, and then I go off the guy and then I'm done. So I'm just never going to get married. And then my partner was the same, because he's like Italian and marriage is so drilled into their culture and it's such this big thing, that he was just like watching all of his friends just get married without asking themselves why. And then he was watching them in these really unhappy relationships where the marriage was falling apart and the guy was cheating and everything was going wrong. And then he was like, I don't believe in marriage anymore. So we got together and we were like, great, but we're from different countries. So if we want to live in the same country, we kind of need to get married. And so then the universe handed us this thing of like, you guys now, you two that thought you could escape the system and you didn't want to get married, you got to fucking do it now. If you want to be together, if you want to like continue this relationship without visas and immigration telling you like you only have a week left to be in this country and then you need to go back to your country for 6 months, we needed to get married. So like that was a huge initiation for us of asking ourselves, why are we so against this? What has the system told us that marriage means? And we both did like burn ceremonies and we wrote down what we were told that marriage meant and what we didn't agree with. And then we would like burn that and just fucking watch it turn into ash. And then we would rewrite our meaning of marriage. And then, yeah, and then we got married in February and made it like, we tried to make it cash, and then like we woke up in the morning and he was freaking out and I was like, it's okay, it's just a piece of paper. And then I was like, this is why people don't sleep in the same room the day they get married, because everyone's fucking freaking out about it secretly, but no one's asking themselves why. No one's asking themselves like, why is this scary? Why am I doing it? Why don't I trust the person I'm about to sign a contract with? And when you have those really difficult conversations with someone you're about to marry, it's really hard, because a part of me wanted to make it like I'm unwanted. He doesn't want me. But actually asking ourselves, why are we doing this? Why are we saying yes to this? Why have the system made it this big, big, big deal? And like, why can't we just make it our thing? And that is so freeing in like any avenue of life. For anyone listening, please ask the babe philosophy. Do the babe philosophy lifestyle. Ask yourself why. Don't be a robot.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, I think it's really beautiful that you just gave an example of like rebelling against the system and also being willing to ask why in that space. And I think that's really important. Whatever you're reacting to, a reactive state is a victim state. That's never going to be empowering for you. So it doesn't really matter what you're asking why to. The very worst case scenario is you discover that maybe that isn't for you. And the best case scenario is you double down on what you already fucking know. And now you have that much more confidence. There's really no downside to asking why.
Thank you. Fuck yeah. I'm going to tie this up with one final question for each of you. Same question. What's your current edge that's like triggering the fuck out of you and pushing you to grow? I'd love to know. Like, you know, we're having these sticky conversations on the podcasts all the time. We had a really sticky conversation on Babe Philosophy yesterday. So everyone watch out for that episode coming out. But like, what's your sticky edge that's really feeling like it's growing you right now and stretching you?
Oh my God, which one? Like, there's so
I
many.
was like, I'm standing alone and saying, which one?
The first one that comes to mind for me, actually, there's two. The most potent one right now actually has recently become more potent since I quit my job, and I'm just kind of like free falling into my life, is scarcity around finances and scarcity around being able to, be safe without having a job and or like an official job that I have a 9 to 5 where I have a paycheck every 2 weeks and I have health benefits and like that's just been the framework that I've lived in all of my life. Liv is very different than I am in this category. I went to grad school, I got my doctorate. I went into the workforce right away, started working a 9 to 5, and have been doing that ever since like and all the way up until 2 months ago. And um I am now like staring down the barrel of like trusting myself in a way that I've never had to trust myself before. And pretty much on a daily basis, I have like emotional breakdowns and like total panic attacks where I'm like, it's not okay. I'm not going to be okay. And, Matt, God bless his soul, fucking football coaches me back into the game and, is like, bitch, get your shit together. This is the plan. We're sticking to it. And I love him for that. And the narrative in my mind around that is like I am spending money that I didn't want to spend, that was meant to be for like my future, like for my savings for my retirement, right? There's that. And then I have a deep abandonment wound that like wiggles its way into every single edge that I have. So the next step of that narrative is like I'm going to spend all of my money on supporting Matt and myself through this period of free fall because right now I am the one supplying the finances right now. And he once I get to zero, he's going to leave me and I'm going to be partnerless and penniless on my own without anything, and I'm going to have to figure it out. And that means I'm going to have to go back to doing doctor things, which I fucking hate, and build up from zero. And that's my edge narrative that like plays in my head at least 4 times a day. And then the other one is my relationship with sex and intimacy, and really realizing that my entire life I have been using sex in I have been approaching sex with dirty fuel. Sex has been a um, form of validation. It's been a way to receive love when I don't feel worthy. It has been a place where I've bypassed my desires and my body to the point where I actually don't know the truth of my desires and my body. So there's this like really, really beautiful, beautiful edge that I'm existing in right now. That's like, what do I even want in that space? Who even am I in that space? And just like this very liminal space of now finally having this knowing and this understanding in my mind of like, oh, I see what I've been doing. I see what has been going on. I see what I've done for the past fucking 20 years. And I am now realizing that is no longer of service and it's become intolerable. I'm having a hard time like showing up in sex because any remnant of what sex used to be for me is so triggering that I just like can't do it. And so it's like reestablishing the entire world of sex and intimacy for myself and understanding that it goes like so deep in myself in a like maladaptive way that I'm like constantly unveiling, or it's like this like, oh, okay, I figured it out. No, I didn't. Oh, okay, I figured it out. No, I didn't. Oh, okay, I figured it out. No, I didn't. And I'm just like in this iteration zone. Um, so that's why having you on the podcast was really fucking epic yesterday because you gave me some beautiful insights. But yeah, those are my two most potent edges right now.
They're so good. And not to solve your problems, but if you do get to the end and you are abandoned and penniless, you and I can live in my car together forever.
Yay.
Can I
Will
come
you
too?
bake philosophy out of, oh,
Yeah,
hell
and
yeah.
Charlotte can
Oh
come
yeah.
too.
There's room for 5. You can bring your bestie too.
Fuck
And
yeah. I'm
Mika,
on
there we
board.
go, full house. I love I just have to give my girl a shout out here. These are like I've seen what it does to her body. I've seen how it can take her from being this like really confident, self-possessed person to just little girl instantly. It's really, really intense. Some of these triggers, I witnessed a lot of the iterations of these things. And again, just like mad admiration and inspiration for how this woman, I literally tell her, I feel like she's like a dark feminine ballerina. Like she's just like, for her, it's fucking horrendous. And like you can see her feeling all of it, but it's like this really beautiful, beautiful dance. I love watching her alchemy. It's very inspiring for me. I like how she dances with her darkness. It's super hot.
Thank you, Mama.
Yeah,
My
you're
best
welcome.
cheerleader.
I can't help it. She's amazing. Okay, so for me, um, I'm so grateful you asked me this because it's been showing up for me in like different masks, right? And it's like I can feel it like pulling. It's like really, if I was in this like tiny little box, it's like showing up in all these different areas and it's trying to like obscure what the fuck it is. But I actually, since you asked this, I'm like, oh no, I see this for what it is. My biggest edge and deepest fear right now is being as confident and self-assured and fucking focused as I natively am. It is the thing that got beat out of me the most. Like Melly uses the term fire hose. I have that in me. Like I have that like Medusa, I can stare you down right for a hole right through you kind of energy. And it just has been beat out of me in so many different ways. It's very confronting when a little girl is probably a better CEO than you. You know what I mean? That kind of vibe. I'm one of those like classic, she's bossy little girl, so we're going to beat her into submission. And I have learned to repress my power and outsource it and subvert it and ignore it through a lot of different distractions and addictions. So I have chosen to do a masculine cleanse. I'm not doing any alcohol right now. I'm gonna get off caffeine. That's gonna be the last to go. I really don't want to say goodbye to the caffeine, but I'm gonna like just remove that. There's a lot of different types of stimulus in my life that I'm just gonna remove for a period of time, not because individually they're bad, but because I know that my system has learned to shrink itself by hiding inside of these things. So I'm going to strip it all and I'm going to find all the places where I am uncomfortable to hold myself, to sit in it, to feel my truth, to feel my power, to feel the intensity of my emotions. And I'm going to let it all come out. And I got to tell you, I have the deepest desire to be partnered and to have a really beautiful, lovely man hold me. Like if there's anything that I ache for, it's that. Um, And also, I'm learning myself and I know myself very well. And there's probably like a dozen men in the entire world that might be a match for me. And there's no way in hell I'm going to call one of those 12 men from across the globe to me if I'm vibrating the way that I'm vibrating. Um, and it's gnarly, dude. It's like gnarly. I have to sit through so many I'm 34. I chose to live nomadically, so I don't have any property. I don't have anything to offer. I'm going all in on a podcast and possibly letting go of my job soon. I don't have financial security. Like there's all the like I have nothing to offer except for my goddamn presence. And I want the truth of me to be that's always been fucking enough. It always will be enough. And I'm literally worthy of any fucking room I walk into just because I am fucking here. Like I can feel that I have that in me. And I'm so sick of just like snuffing that out, snuffing that out, snuffing that out. So it's been I've cried a lot, lots of little wounds, lots of holding an abandoned little girl, lots of inner critic. Today the inner critic is really, really focused on how I'm not as good as other women and I need to compare myself in those ways and da da da. But you know, it's a thing that I'm like just laughing through, like we talked about. I'm just like, okay, I see you. We need to feel pitiful and fat and ugly. Okay, fine, you're fat and ugly. Go to the gym, eat your food, get on the podcast, do your work. Okay. But that's what I would say my big edge right now is to just like let all my power fucking loose.
Yes.
Yes, do it. Do it. Let it out. Thank you so much for going there, going to your deepest, most squishy, vulnerable parts right now. That's been medicine for me to hear, and I can relate in so many different ways. And I know so many women will receive this and relate. And if you liked that vulnerable juice of feeling so understood by another woman who's going through exactly what you're going through and putting it into words, then please everyone go and listen to Babe Philosophy, because that is like every episode of this amazing podcast. And I want to give you both, talking of like owning your power and going all in on your dreams, please shout yourselves out. Like how can everyone come and meet you, greet you, get to know you, be part of Babe Philosophy?
We have an Instagram. It's at babe.philosophy. And then my personal Instagram is at Melly Wolf, MELIWOLF.
Yeah, I'm going to repeat at babe.philosophy. And then my personal Instagram is at live wickedly. And it's LIV, which is my name. There's no E there. So at live wickedly. And if you want to listen to the podcast, we're on all the major streaming platforms and YouTube.
And we also just recently made a free grimoire, which is a book of modern philosophy spells to walk you through exactly what me and Liv are talking about. So go download it because it's free and it's on our website, babephilosophy.com.
It's called The Power of Too Much.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff in there.
Fucking I will put all the links down below in the show notes, but everyone come and be part of this like girl tribe. We've been hanging out every day so far this week, and I really like that. So
yeah,
I love it.
That's amazing. Excellent. I love that, from across the world.
I know.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm worming my way in.
Oh, for sure.
Thank you so much for bringing your wisdom on sisterhood and subjects that I've never ever had on the podcast in 80 episodes. We've never spoken about this. So I'm so fucking grateful to bring this conversation. You're both amazing. You're both so inspiring. I feel my heart so fucking full of the power of like women just being so honest. So thank you for the medicine that Babe Philosophy brings. It's so amazing. And yeah, I'm so grateful for both of you.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Charlotte.
you.
We love you. This has been amazing.
Yeah.
So much love.